Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Talking Reds. In this episode tonight, I will be talking VAR, referees and officiating in the Premier League, and how we seem to be letting these get away with it. And why are we letting them get away with it? It all comes down to hypocrisy. It all comes down to calling it out all the time, and not just when it benefits your team. It all comes down to accountability and these officiates not being accountable for their actions and being accountable for their decisions they're making, costing people jobs, costing teams points, costing so much aggro in the league for no reason when they've got a VAR, they've got a video referee there to see the same exact evidence we do at home, but come up with different solutions, come up with different endings, conclusions. Why are they coming up with different conclusions? It all comes down to interpretation. It all comes down, or is it corruption? Is it simple corruption? Is it incompetence? Either way, it's not good enough. It's as simple as that. Not good enough in this league. The best league in the world, we keep saying it is, but the refereeing and officiating in this league is bog standard. At best. And I'm going to tackle these straight head on. Whether it benefits Liverpool, whether it goes against Liverpool, there have been many times over the years that Liverpool have been robbed of points, robbed of games, which could win us leagues, which could win us trophies, many times. And this is no different to any other game. But what we need to start doing now is calling out if it benefits your team, regardless. Otherwise, there's always wiggle room for referees, always wiggle room for PGMOL. There's always PGMOL, sorry. There's always wiggle room for them to get out of it because it suits your team now. You're not saying anything about it. I don't want to be like that. On this channel, we want to tell you the truth. We want to be honest when we need to be honest. We want to tell you things that are how it is, regardless of who it benefits. Let's start with our game then against Arsenal. And there's big moment at the end. Obviously, the goal with a Jesus and Havertz thing at the end, the bit of penalty call early on, and some other little things in the game as well I didn't agree with at all, and benefiting both sides, by the way, not just one side. And such a big game like that, you need a referee that's going to be up to it as well as much as the players and up to it as much as the teams. And right now, Anthony Taylor is also over past is being officiating Liverpool games, been terrible anyway. But it's constant with him. It's constant with Anthony Taylor. It's constant with these VAR officials that are seeing the same videos we do in games like this. So they're not up to it. They're either not up to it or they're just completely not good enough for this league. And they keep getting chances over and over again to do it again and again and again. And it's every single weekend we seem to be talking about refereeing decisions rather than the actual football on the pitch. And that's a shame. Because what we saw yesterday was a brilliant game, all in all. A 2-2 game. It wasn't as thrilling as a 2-2 could possibly be, but it was a good game, all in all. And it took away from the game. The officiating took away from the game. And it's the same every single weekend. It's boring. It's boring now. It's absolutely boring. But this is what we've got to do. We've got to talk about it. They've now got on Sky Sports, they've now got their own show. Damon Gallagher coming in and speaking about it. Why has it got to this point? Why can't they just address the officiating in this league rather than having to talk about it every single week? There's going to be times where there's if he calls and it could have been 50-50, it could have gone either way. But these are big calls and quite easy calls to make. Even the offside situation yesterday, when Arsenal scored, and they were looking at it for a good 5-6 minutes. And I don't know why they were looking at it for so long, because for me it was quite clear that Van Dijk did, and I was being a Liverpool fan. I didn't want Van Dijk to be playing him on, but I could see it straight away that Van Dijk playing him on is a goal. Just give it. But instead they took 5-6 minutes to look at the same things that we're looking at home, and finally coming out with it. I was surprised they didn't give offsides because that's what these officials do. They give these random calls. I mean, looked at it for so long, and the Diaz situation last year against Tottenham was a perfect time for, as a whole unit of clubs together and fans together, we should have come together and really got at these officials, because they expose themselves with the audio. They expose their incompetence with the audio, and we allowed them to get away with it. Other teams, other managers like, well, it's football. It just happens. No, it's not football. It's not football. When you've got 99 people out of 100 saying one thing, and the one person that matters that says a completely different thing is the one that's in charge of the game. What is that about? That's not football. That's not integrity of the game. That's not what the game's about. The game's about integrity. Yes, you can have human error, but not stupid, ridiculous decisions that make zero sense and then come up with some bullshit to back it up, or some excuse of, oh, well, you know, the technology didn't give him all this. It don't give him. It gives him exactly what we're seeing at home. I'm bored of this lack of accountability. I'm bored of this lack of them to explain themselves why they've given these decisions. It's ridiculous. They're saying they talk about giving like next year. They're talking about officiating, talking to people after the game. It's not good enough. We need to see accountability. We need to see these decisions being improved. We need to see these improvements in the game now, not next year, not the year after. We need to see it now. And let's talk about the controversial things that happened in our game. And I'm going to talk one, and I've posted this online today about that Havertz goal, or that Jesus goal at the end, why it was disallowed. And I personally feel that it should have been continued. Whether it would have led to a goal, we don't know, because a couple of players did stop, but we don't know what happened after that. But it should have been continued. And if there were grievances to bring up, then they actually got involved afterwards. But it should let the play continue, because I don't think there was nothing there enough to stop the game. There was 3 incidents in that whole sequence there where people are like, well, it's a foul there, foul there, foul there. I don't see them all as fouls. And I know as a Liverpool fan, and this is what gets me annoyed, I know as a Liverpool fan, if we was in the shoes of Arsenal yesterday to that point at the end, we would have been fuming. We would have been sat here fuming and not happy about what's just happened. The start bit, it was it Kivior that went up? I don't know if it was Kivior went up for a challenge with Szoboszlai, and it was a genuine attempt to play the ball. And Szoboszlai turned his back. In fact, I thought Szoboszlai was the one that was dangerous in the tackle itself, because he turned his back and made it look like he was getting fouled, but it wasn't really. It's just a genuine attempt for the play of the ball. He won the header, play on. Then this is the part where it's debatable for me, and I said it online again today. This is the only time I can say possibly 50-50. I can see it going either way. I can see why it was given, if it was given for that, but I could also see why you'd be not happy with it being given. Havertz went up for the ball with Konate. His elbow sort of caught Konate, but it wasn't like he didn't do that. He didn't do that. He put his arms up. Just that's how you jump anyway. I don't think it had enough contact with Konate or enough impact on Konate to stop him going for the ball. So that's why I'm leaning on the side of, I don't think it was a foul, but I can understand why people would see it was foul. And it also came off up on top of his arm up here. Again, non-intentional. I can see again why it would be given the handball, and I'd have no qualms either way. That's the only debatable thing, I think, in that whole sequence. But then we'll move on a little bit. It went on to Trent Alexander-Arnold, and I think that was that Havertz? I think it was Havertz that came across and shoulder badged him, and it was a genuine shoulder badge. The post was there. It's unfortunate that the post was there. Trent went out to kick the ball. He was off balance already, so it was not hard to knock him over. It didn't come through the back of Trent. It didn't knock him in the back. It came from running from behind, but then he went to the side and shoulder badged him. If you've played football at any level on an 11-side pitch, and if you think that is a foul, or the one before where he jumped up with Szoboszlai was a foul, then you can't have had these challenges on the pitch before. Because I guarantee you now, if I made that challenge on the pitch, jumping up and winning the ball, and Szoboszlai goes under me like that, or I shoulder badge Trent like that, I would be fuming if that has gone against you. Absolutely fuming. See, this is a contact sport. Let's not forget this. I know people want to make it not a contact sport at the moment, but it is a contact sport. I sometimes come off playing on Saturday with cuts all up my legs without even realising it. That's just that's part of the game. You're going to get them. I don't get fouls for them, but you just expect contact and be a part of that contact. We don't want to get rid of contact in this sport. This is a contact sport. I don't want it to be like basketball, where as soon as you touch a player, it's a foul. I don't want that. This is football. We didn't grow up on the non-contact sport. Yes, I know it's not the 80s. I know it's not the 90s, where some of it, like a Vinnie Jones tackle, for example, would be a straight red. And I'd admit some of these tackles are like, what are you doing? And it's a clear straight red. But we still want to keep contact in the sport, and giving fouls ridiculous 50-50 challenges and genuine attempts to play the ball, then unless it's dangerous, like high up in the air, or like studs up above the shin, or a silly late challenge which is nowhere near the ball, then fair enough. But it's a genuine attempt to play the ball. It's not really done anything. It's just contact's become part of the challenge. That's okay. If it's stupid contact, like I said, high foot or really endanger the player, then fair enough. It's a foul or possibly a yellow and a red card. But when it's two players coming for a challenge together and one just got the better of him, that's football. That's the football we grew up in this country. That's football. That would I give him that goal at the end? It's hard to judge because he blew the whistle. And this is my problem with the whole thing. I don't think he should have blown the whistle because he blew the whistle too early, and I think he should let the game go on. And then if it needs to be brought back by VAR, that's why VAR's there. Then bring it back because there was nothing there that was nailed on to be a foul where he had to blow, if that makes sense. And like I said, if I was a Liverpool fan and that happened to me, I'd be sit here, red mist, and absolutely fuming with the decision. And some fans, and if people disagree with me online, then absolutely fine. I've had plenty of people disagree with me on Twitter today, or X, whatever you want to call it. I've had plenty of people disagree with me today, all Liverpool fans, saying, well, this is a foul, this is a foul. And I said to you, well, if you played on the pitch and had these challenges yourself, you wouldn't be thinking this. And it depends. It all comes from perception on that. But we don't need football to become down to perception. It should be quite black and white. Where it's a foul or it's not a foul. There's going to be some incidents where they are 50-50. It does come down to perception and interpretation from individuals. That's just the way it is. So the one on Havertz and Konate, that's the only handball and the elbow sort of thing. That's the only one that's probably debatable. Obviously, I can see either side of it. But I just know as a Liverpool fan, I'd be fuming if it would disallow that goal. It shouldn't have been allowed that. Could Virgil have got back? Could Konate have got back? Possibly. I think Virgil could have got back after the rebound, I think, possibly. But we don't know, do we? We don't know. He blew early, and I don't think I think they weren't directly involved in play where I can guarantee them getting back, if that makes sense. So would I see it as a goal? Possibly. And I just think we need to be honest as fans, and it wasn't the only controversial thing in this game. I want to bring another one up because people also came at me on Twitter again today as well, saying like, "Oh, why are you not bringing the Gravenberch thing up? We know when he kicked the ball, it hit Trossard in the face, and he gave him my foot." I said, "I've never said that wasn't what you're on about. I've not even said that wasn't a foul or that was a foul." I'm going to address that now. By the way, I'm going to address that now because that was a ridiculous decision as well by Anthony Taylor, where Gravenberch kicked the ball and it hit Trossard in the face, and he got given for it, like it kicked Trossard in the face. It's what you want in that high either. Again, it comes down to just sheer incompetence. It's sheer incompetence. That could have led to a goal. The only reason why I did a tweet about it today because it wasn't a massive incident, which everyone's talking about. It wasn't a massive incident that practically changed the game, but it's still an incident. It's still stupid, ridiculous decisions by a referee when it's such an easy thing to give. It clearly kicked the ball. It clearly didn't kick him in the face. He clearly didn't kick his foot high enough to do it. It's just bad incident after bad incident. And another thing I haven't really seen today on social media spoken about, which I'd be more fuming as an Arsenal fan. If this was Liverpool, that's the other end of Liverpool, I'd be more fuming about this than any other decision in that game. And that was the Virgil van Dijk situation early on when he kicked out. Him and Havertz were having a little tussle, and Virgil van Dijk kicked out at him twice. We spoke about it last night on the match reaction. All three of us said it was a red card. it's okay. If Anthony Taylor hasn't seen that, then fair enough. But why isn't VAR getting involved? VAR should have got it. In fact, Anthony Taylor did say it. He gave a free kick for it. He didn't even give a yellow card, which to me blagged my mind. He must. So if he's seen it to give a free kick, how can he see someone kicking someone out and not give at least a yellow card? But it's a red card, really. But you know what I'm saying? I can't. And if that was against Liverpool, I'd be absolutely raging. And this isn't a conspiracy against Arsenal. So these Arsenal fans online that say, no, it's always against Arsenal. Don't forget Odegaard last year. Or was it 2 seasons ago? Where Jan Bob practically saved the ball in the box and we didn't get a penalty for it. So I don't think this is a controversy against Arsenal, a conspiracy against Arsenal. Because it's not. We've been cheated against you plenty of times. And certainly Liverpool ain't going to get anything. If it was conspiracy, they ain't going to get nothing. Because we've had so many times where we've been absolutely robbed by officials and such ridiculously bad decisions against us, and for years and decades as well. Not just since VAR's come in. Beach ball's a big thing. Do you remember beach ball? We had a beach ball squad against us allowed. So this isn't a conspiracy against Arsenal. I do believe like back in the day when Man United and Fergie, I think they had a good grasp of referees. I do think they got massive decisions corrupted wise, possibly, if that bad. And officials had admitted that Fergie had something over them, and that's not on. I do think Man City get sort of similar as well. Man City don't really get much against them, and they get a lot for them going for them. And the Doku tackle on McAllister last year was just absolute proof where it should have a clear red and a clear penalty, and we didn't get it. But Arsenal, I like Liverpool where they do get a lot of things against them. So I don't think it's a conspiracy against Arsenal for Liverpool. There's not a chance. Not after Odegaard, not after handball against Odegaard. So, but I do feel for Arsenal fans today for that referee display yesterday. And like I said, it wasn't just Arsenal decisions that he made wrong. He did a few against. There was a lot of 50-50 challenges which could have gone our way. It didn't. And that's just that we can argue about every single thing, every single incident, but we're going to argue about the main incidents and the ones that really turn the game as well. They're the major ones which, because if they got that goal at the end, they win the game. It's as simple as that. They win the game. It's a bit like the Doku one against McAllister. If we got that penalty, we win the game. If we got scored, I know, but we'll win the game. It's last second. So I'm going to bring that up. I'm going to bring these big moments up because they are game-changing moments. But what I want Liverpool fans to do, I want football fans to do in general, is if a big decision like this that shouldn't have been given goes for your team, scrap the goal at the end, because as part of that can be debated. But the Virgil tackle, every Liverpool fan that cares about football, that cares about the standards in this game, the integrity of the game, should be saying, yeah, I admit Virgil should have got set off. Because if you don't admit that, then that's hypocrisy at its finest. If we get a decision for us in a couple of weeks, where we play Man City, next month we play Man City, and Kevin De Bruyne kicks out and they don't get a red card for it, I don't want to see, we got absolutely robbed, it should have been a red card, if you can't say that about Virgil yesterday. I was surprised that Virgil did that. Virgil doesn't normally lose his cool. It should have been a yellow card for Havertz, but it should have been a red for Virgil. So he kicked out at him twice. You can't do that. There's a red card. So if you're a Liverpool fan and you're saying Arsenal fans why they're crying for the officiating, look at that incident there, and you've got to admit, whether it benefits your team or not, you've got to admit when a decision is wrong, it is wrong. Two wrongs don't make a right. Oh, but Odegaard cheated last year, so it's karma. It probably is karma, but it doesn't mean that the decision's right. You've got to say it was a wrong decision. It's as simple as that. It was a red card for Virgil, and we did get away with one there. In the whole context of the game, a draw was the the right outcome, I think. Just the way the first half went, all Arsenal, second half, Liverpool were better. But we've got to admit when a decision was wrong and it would benefited us. Otherwise, we become absolute hypocrites in a couple of weeks' time, and we get robbed, and we say, well, you kicked out there. Because that's when other fans are going to go to you, well, look at Virgil. You can't cry, because look at Virgil. If we want this standard and these officials to be accountable and improve in this league and keep the integrity of this Premier League and keep the integrity of our sport, then we need to call this out regardless of who it benefits. Regardless of who it benefits. Manchester United got cheated yesterday. Wasn't a penalty. And Man United cheat more than, well, I don't say they cheat. I said they got a lot of decisions, and they have done over the past 20, 30 years. Big decisions. We've just spoken about that. But I'll admit, if Man United get a decision against them, I can't stand them. But I've got to be truthful as a person, as a human being, and as a football fan, that shouldn't have been a penalty. I'm absolutely delighted. Man United dropped points and they're doing the relegation battle right now. But you've got to be honest. You've got to be honest. If you can't be honest, what are you being? You've been a hypocrite. The standards of this Premier League will never improve until every fan comes together and admits whether it benefits your team or not, admits that things need changing, and these officials need to do better. And I'm fucking tired of it. I'm tired of these officials getting away with this. Because in a normal job, if you make mistake after mistake every single week, not one off, every single week, you'd be sacked. And I'm not asking for sacking of these people, because these are human beings. What I'm asking for is accountability, but it'd be go back and train and do better, or just better standards. And these egos of them as well. The egos of them. You can't question the referee's decision. Yes, don't be insulting, because on a Saturday, when I play football on a Saturday, still got to respect the referee, but it doesn't mean you have to agree with everything they say and question it every now and then. Otherwise, it's a power trip and an ego that you can't. It's pointless going toe and toe with. Yes, they're human beings. Treat them with absolute respect, and it's a hard job. It's probably one of the hardest jobs in football because of this sort of thing where they get a lot of stick but just I want honesty and transparency from the PGMOL. Honesty and transparency from Howard Webb. When he went on overlap the other week, the guy in the back staff, at Liverpool fan, asked him about the Dijk situation, and he skirted off it. It's like he didn't want to answer about it. That's not helping anything. You're making things worse. Admit you got things wrong. Say you're working on the standards of refereeing and you're not happy with the standards of refereeing. It needs to improve. Don't just skirt off it. It's so frustrating that they don't seem to want to care about, or they don't want to throw their mates under the bus. And there's no truth in that. People get things wrong in life. People make wrong decisions. People do wrong things at work. People do things. But if they were more truthful and admit, look, I made a mistake there. I admit I did that. People would respect them massively. And I'm working on not to make that mistake again. The respect would be huge. If Anthony Taylor came out and said, yes, I should have sent on Van Dijk. I apologise for not sending on Van Dijk. I'll make sure my standards are upheld, and I'll work at it. Because that's what footballers do. If footballers play a bad game, they don't just run away. They say, look, I played shit. I need to improve. And they'll go on the training pitch and they'll work extra hard. They'll work an hour after training to improve. That's what sets the best from the best. those that want to improve and look into it, always improve and be truthful to themselves as well. If you're poor, you're poor. This isn't like trying to single referees and Anthony Taylor as such. This is upheld in standards in what we call the best league in the world. It can't be the best league in the world until this officiating stops, and this officiating sorts itself out. There's some great officials out there, and there's some great moments of officials where they, in games like this, they just allow the player to go on, and they fantastically manage the game as officials in big games, because it does take a big official to manage a big game, because there's a lot on the line. But so is every game, even down to National League standard. I speak to fans across England that support teams across the other leagues, Championship, League One, League Two, and even those leagues, they still have problems with officials. All we expect is accountability, transparency, and better standards. And what I expect from the fans is honesty and not hypocrisy. Just because it benefits your team doesn't mean that you skirt over it, or it was okay, it was fine, it was a good decision. If it was a bad decision, tell it. Say it how it is. The Havertz goal at the end, I would say that one part where the Havertz and Konate went off the ball with the handball and the elbow, that was the only debatable part in the whole thing. There was no foul on Trent. There was no foul on Szoboszlai. Anyone that's played football and been in these duels, no, they're not fouls. It's just standard contact sport. But the Virgil van Dijk one was, for me, a clear red. I'm very, very shocked that it wasn't a clear red. And I'm very shocked that he gave a free kick for he didn't even book him. I'm very shocked. But Liverpool have been robbed so many times over the years. So many times. Like I said earlier, the Odegaard handball. It's cost us leagues. It's cost us trophies. But until we call out all bad decisions and ask better from every game, regardless of who it benefits, nothing's going to change. And the reason why VAR was brought in, because the standards of the referee was shocking. I can go over the past 20, 30 years. I can watch Premier League years on Sky Sports and see massive controversial incidents I can't believe that happened. I still remember, I think it was Tottenham against Man United, and he sort of boot it upfield from halfway line. Roy Carroll caught it, went behind him. The ball practically touched the net, and he won't give it as a goal. It miles over the line. That changed the season. That season, by the way, that one incident there changed a massive part, and Man United went on to win the title. So it's been happening for years. This refereeing standard has not been happening just because VAR is not the issue. And if anyone's got a problem with VAR and say, "I'll scrap VAR," and it's all going to be roses, just watch the 20, 30 years before VAR and why VAR was brought in. Officials needed help because they want the controversial every single time. The linesmen were getting offsides clearly miles wrong. I don't know why. Clear offsides or clear onsides, and they were getting them wrong. Another one for us was that, I think it was Sterling, wasn't it, against Man City, when it was clearly onside and it was given offside. Diaz situation last year with, and that should be, everyone should come together on that. I'm still not happy about the whole club's not coming together on that, and because the order really exposed the officials. It's been happening for years. So don't say scrap VAR. What you should do is just use it better. Use it better. If we can get automated offsides, that'd be perfect. As long as it don't make mistakes, you can't do any worse. We're drawing lines. We're drawing lines freehand for offsides when we could just have an automated offside in there. Fucking lines. Like it's fucking preschool. This is the Premier League. There should be a standard of not just football, but there should be a standard of officiating in this league to be the best league in the world. And it all starts with fans as well to make sure we're doing the right thing by calling it out no matter what. What I hope going on to the future is probably better training for the officials, better use of VAR. You've seen the same, the video evidence. We see the same video evidence, so they can't come to different conclusions every time. Better use of technology like automated offsides. The goal line technology, there's never been a problem with that. One time, I think one or twice, I've seen like it go off in it. I think it didn't work, and it did cost teams. I think it relegated the team. I can't think who it was, but it did relegate a team once. But you're going to get them, but not every week. We shouldn't have to talking about officials every week. Not when the game's a fantastic game and it ruined the game. It ruins the game. As a game of football, such a brilliant game on a Sunday afternoon, when the football should be the one that's talked about, not the officials. If you are new to the Talking Reds channel, please make sure you subscribe to the channel, like this video. Don't forget we are coming back tomorrow for the match preview for Brighton in the Cup. Then we've got Brighton at the weekend in the league, so another match preview for that. Got match reaction at the end as well. Coming up on Wednesday, we're going to be talking rivals. I've got 2 rivals coming on as well to talk to me about the other teams in and around Liverpool, like Man City, Tottenham, Villa, not Manchester United. But make sure you're tuned in. Make sure you turn notification bells on as well onto this channel, because we are getting content out every single day. And we are different kind of content as much as we can. Talking rivals. I'm going to react to a social media post as well tomorrow that I saw today, which shocked me. So make sure you turn the notification bells on, subscribe to the channel, like this video, and have a great night, Reds.